Did you all know as a company, or was it you, or was there someone specific who brought up the idea of gamification when you initially heard about it?
Definitely not me. I was not in the early stages, like very, very early stages. So it was one of our co-founders, and Danielus, who is now our CEO, who is also a co-founder, I think was this one person who was always bringing this up, even in the early days of, that, when we are going to do it or how we are going to do. So he was the one pushing for it. And I think he was also the one looking for ways to engage with the Octalysis group and to make it professional.
What were your initiatives or goals before you worked with the Octalysis Group?
So of course, the very early stages of BitDegree was to, in general, build the key functionalities needed for online education to happen and to function, and for instructors be able to participate, for people to start learning and be able to access the content. So that's the foundation. You cannot go without those. And I think from quite early on, we started to think of how to engage users. I think even before we started working with Octalysis, we had this idea of engagement and some of the gamification elements, tactics implemented on the platform. And I think also that helped us when we started with the Octalysis, that we already had some ideas. We already have seen some things that work, which doesn't, some designs, ideas maybe on how it could look on our platform. Of course, we have also, I think, had this clear understanding that no, it doesn't work like, if you just put badges or the leaderboard or just give random experience points, So I think we had some elements, but it was never put before working with Octalysis into a structure that works or that has a very consistent logic behind. It was more like, really our intuition on what we can do and what gamification elements are common maybe in other platforms like Khan Academy or similar. So we have worked on this engagement of students and student experience a lot. Attracting new users was, of course, our initial goals for a startup. To grow, you need to grow in some metrics. So I think attracting students, making them learn, enroll in the courses, attract also instructors. These were the first ones. But I think when it came to the Octalysis project, it shifted a bit. The goals, and we wanted to work more on user engagement. So we kind of already attracted the users. So how now keep them in the system, and how do we engage them in the learning processes?
So if you had to use 3 words to describe your experience of working with the Octalysis Group, personal level, company level, whatever comes to mind, what would you choose?
So first word would be educational. For education-focused company, for in general education platform, it's an important aspect, So during the project, during the work with Octalysis, we learned ourselves. I think the second thing would be eye-opening. We got this bigger perspective of what is happening, how to approach user experience, what is typically the logic behind, and you keep on noticing these elements in your surrounding, in the marketing campaigns, and other games. So now you understand, and I think it gives you new perspectives and new ideas for how to improve your own work or whatever regular activity, walking challenge that we have at BitDegree right now. In general, fun. It's always interesting to work with external people. That brings in new ideas, brings in diversity in a sense. It was super fun to work with the international team, inspiring at the same time, also knowing that Octalysis is working fully remotely all the time, so I think we have some learnings to do here as well. So yeah, I think this would be my 3 words.
Is there any other results and areas of your business which improved, both in terms of user and also perhaps as a company?
Yeah, so one of course is these key metrics that are interesting. So the what I have mentioned, the completion rates are growing. I think 1/3 of the people start with the gamification experience and this experience throughout the platform. We have seen for those users who engage in the gamification, we see that they spend around 3 times more time on the platform. So again, it also relates to the courses completed. So it is kind of, I think, correlated, the metrics. But the time increases, and that's a good result. So that's for the users. As a company, we are always proudly saying that we develop gamification and we put gamification in our system, and we are proud of it. And it has more logic than, the standard leaderboard badges, again, where like clients or potential clients, they know, they live themselves in this kind of buzzword thinking, oh, we need gamification. And when we explain, how we did it, I think that makes a difference for them when they compare maybe to other platforms. So that's also, I think, we can still impress people by telling what gamification we have, what's the logic behind, and where we are maybe heading with that, and how can that be utilized for different companies or in different cases. Exactly a year ago, we won a Global Champion nomination by World Summit Awards. It's United Nations initiative to recognize digital solutions that has potential to improve United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. So of course, one of those goals is quality education. So in the education and learning category, we won the Global Champion award and nomination, which is also, I think, this is the first World Summit Awards nomination of that was brought back to Lithuania. So we are the first ones to do that. I think also that kind of for us gives this assurance that we are on the right track. Education is difficult. There are no quick solutions, but these acknowledgements also show that there is something that we touched upon.
How likely are you to recommend us? And why should someone in this case study listen?
I think there are a couple of things. Why I liked working with the Octalysis team, it was, of course, super nice communication, super easygoing project. I think the belief in the project from both sides. So in general, it was a nice project, a nice cooperation. Octalysis was open to discuss things that doesn't work, to reconsider some of the areas. So I really like and appreciate the flexibility working of this project, and in general working with the team. It's worth if you want to do something and you believe that this is something that, help you in your business metrics. So that's one thing. But I think companies shouldn't be afraid in general to invest, and gamification might sound like too abstract, too fun, etc. But I think talking with Octalysis, you put this into structure, and then you believe and make it work and can really back to really daily operations, daily goals, KPIs of the company. Important to understand that it still is a structured work, and you can trust, in the company, in the process, and it's not something, just for fun or
abstract.
Just creative, or abstract. It really can be linked, and I think that's a good job with these initial workshops Octalysis is doing, how you actually link that to the business metrics, and that's a good foundation, I think, for such projects.